But I just wanted to kind of wrap up our last conversation that we did have, and see if I could answer any questions that you guys may have about what is going on, where we are now with the case, and what likely is going to happen next. So just to recap, hey guys, let me see who we got here. Oh, you can't hear me? Okay, yeah, Diddy has been done. That is absolutely right. Girl, me rushing to this live with the comments. Awesome. Somebody said I had to leave Portia's live. Yeah. And make sure you put the questions in the comments. I'm going to do my best to answer those. So here's what we're going to start with first. All right, you guys tell me, what should we go with first? Should we discuss how I believe that the leak came out this year? Or should we discuss what charges that Diddy can potentially have to deal with today, criminal ones today, even though this video was all the way from back in 2016. Which one should we do first? So put a 1 if you want to do, oh shoot, I got that out of order. Yeah, put a 1 if we want to do the criminal charges. No, sorry. Okay, we'll do both. All right, the leak of the charge. Let's do the leak first. All right, so we know as people are coming in, we're talking about how did this video get leaked? And I want to see your guys' thoughts. My thoughts are this. So we know that this video has existed since 2016. And Cassie's petition specifically, she stated that he paid off someone for the tapes. When you pay off someone for tapes, you demand originals. Okay, and you're able to actually confirm that something is an original. I believe that these tapes were likely obtained through the raid with the feds. Because we know that the feds took boxes, hundreds of boxes of tapes. So I do believe that these tapes were likely part of the raid. And I also believe that the feds, part of their investigation, right, is what they do is they take the petitions that have already been filed and they follow the evidence. So in hers, where she talks about how the hotel had the footage and she believes that Diddy paid somebody off for it, I think they probably went back and have started interviewing people that were in the security department for the hotel back then. And here is an important a little important legal fun fact you need to always make sure that you remember. It's not a crime to lie to the cops in most states, not in California, not in Texas. Yes, it looks bad when you go to court and it can be used against you for character, but it's not a crime. State court. Federal court is a crime. You can go to jail for lying to a federal officer, okay? That's what Michael Cohen, Donald Trump's attorney, and a few others have gone for. So I believe when the feds came in and started asking those people who previously worked in security about the tape, this and that, they weren't going to cover for him because that would be a federal crime. And the federal investigators are real quick to remind you that if you lie to us, you go into federal prison for that. So somebody said, if Diddy had the tapes, wouldn't he destroy them? I don't know. So I would think it would be more smart to do so. But with Diddy, it seems like a lot of his behavior is about power. Today, it came out one of Kim Porter's friends talked about the abuse and how he used to abuse Kim, but also said at one point he tried to make Kim lick Cassie's tampon. I'm so disgusted. Made Kim, as part of the abuse, lick Cassie's tampon. I say that to say Diddy likes power. And he may have liked the power of having the tapes, looking and being able to watch himself whoop this girl whenever he wanted, when he was having a good day, when he was having a bad day. That is how some people who are narcissistic and have different mental issues like that, they like, but also they like to keep those tapes, so they'll play it for you and be like, look at this, come on here, look this time I whooped your tail. Get out of line and I'll do it again. They like to have that ever-present fear over you because that's part of the way that they keep you subservient to them, and they believe that they're keeping you from going to authorities or anywhere else because you are so accustomed to living in the fear of what they will do next. Somebody said the power of making Chris Williams rock the mic. Ooh. Somebody said, I think he broke Kim's nose. He wants to keep control. Yes. Control. Because, yeah, there's no reason to have all those tapes of horrible things. Plus, in different petitions from the people that are currently suing him, they talk about how he would record people. Now, this is different because I'm talking about the sexual stuff. He would record people in sex acts and use that to blackmail them, saying, if you don't do this or that, I'm going to leak these. And so that's another component of why he likely had all those videos. But the way karma works, mark my words, these videos are likely what is going to take him all the way down with no way for redemption. Because even with Harvey Weinstein and all the gross things that he did, we had a lot of testimony from a lot of different people, but there was no video. There was an audio that ultimately helped to bring Harvey down. But this video, there's going to be more to come, I anticipate. Yeah, somebody said he keeps them as trophies. This stuff happens every day. People have no idea. Somebody says, do I think they will reopen the Kim situation? Yes, I believe it's going to be done in secret. We will never know about it. Us, the public, we're not going to know about it unless something is going to take place, like charges or something. Here's how it kind of works in that industry, meaning police departments and things like that. You may be having like a lull in, like, let's say you're one of the detectives in those departments. You might be having a lull in like your workload, or you might be wanting to go up for a promotion. You might want some additional opportunities. What better way to make a name for yourself than to break that case? I bet within the department, because it's actually similar in the prosecutors' departments for different cities and stuff. You want to be assigned to a celebrity case, and you want to help resolve that case so that the public can have more trust in the system. So I believe that there's going to be multiple detectives in that back end who are going to be in back offices looking through files, contacting people, investigating, doing what they can to just reconfirm or to find that her death was not what we initially thought it was, that it wasn't simply this health issue. So I think it's going to take time. That was going to take a lot more time because of the complexity of it. But I do believe that there are people investigating it. It's just not something that we're going to find out about through TMZ anytime soon. Somebody says he hasn't been criminally charged. Correct. He hasn't been criminally charged for anything. Because what happens is when the feds criminally charge you, and this is going to be, let me clarify. He could now be dealing with both criminal and federal charges. So this allows us to segue into what could he be charged with today. Now, remember, this happened in 2016. Now, assault, shout out to my friend, Judge Thelma. She clarified this happened in California. In California, the statute of limitation for assault is 3 years. We're far along. We're past that. We're about 8 years. And there's no discovery rule. So sometimes they use something called the discovery rule when you're on the civil side that lets you go by when something is revealed, such as this tape. That is not applicable here, though, because we all knew, not we all, but Cassie knew that this had happened. So we can't use the discovery rule. That is more so just about him hiding evidence. What can take place, though, for the criminal side is in the state of California, the R word, which Cassie said happened to her by him, and kidnapping have no statute of limitations. What he did to her in that video was kidnapping. Kidnapping, I have seen people be charged with kidnapping for simply not letting someone leave the house. So kidnapping doesn't mean you're taking them necessarily from one location to another. Although we did see him, kidnapping is when someone is trying to leave and you will not let them. That's it. Here, we saw her with her stuff, go to the elevator, hit the button. Elevator even opened up. And he drug her back and took her purse, which likely had her phone and her belongings, and drug her back. That is kidnapping. That is kidnapping on camera. So kidnapping is a very viable charge. And I think I had seen anybody still defending him Just wants a page. Forcible confinement. That could be, forcible confinement is more so the wording that would be used on the civil side if you're trying to get financially compensated for that. Is it false imprisonment? Could be. I'm not really sure what the parameters of that are. Kidnapping is just stronger, because kidnapping, you can get life for kidnapping. False imprisonment is a lower level of that. Sometimes false imprisonment could even be a misdemeanor in some states. Cassie talked to the Fed. Cassie walked so the feds could run up. That's very true. And that's the other thing. I've seen some bloggers, bless their hearts, just loud and wrong, say that, well, because of the settlement agreement that Cassie signed, she can't go to the police. She has to wait. If the police talk to her, she can talk back to them, but she can't go to them. Wrong. Loud and wrong. First of all, her settlement agreement has not precluded her from anything. Now, she may not be able to say the dollar amount that she received, but baby, she can give all the facts. She just don't want to. At this point, she doesn't need to. If I were her lawyer, I would tell her, don't say a word. Here's why. Let the criminal court reveal the facts. Because it won't just be about what he did to her. It's going to be about a number of people. So just because Cassie settled in the civil, it does not preclude her from talking to the cops. She can literally walk to the police station today and say, you want to hear about my rape? You want to hear about that kidnapping? She does not have to wait for anyone to ask her, and she can tell it all. And so that's how come it's very important when you see people that were saying, oh, this was just about the money. No, this is about opening the doors to everything else. Because a lot of times I actually will tell my client when they have potential clients will have a consultation with me, right? And they'll be like, I want to press charges against this person. I said, okay, well, you know what? That's free. I'm not going to take your money for that. You just need to go downtown. They said, well, the police aren't taking my request seriously. I said, okay, well, let's talk about, for example, it was someone who, their neighbor had been giving them a lot of trouble. And one night the neighbor shot off a gun, and it went through their wall. Cops weren't trying to hear it. So I said, let's make a claim with your homeowner's insurance, with their homeowner's insurance. They were a renting from somebody. We make claims with everybody, claim pain and suffering, claim mental anguish, claim gut. What happens is the insurance companies have their own investigators. And because insurance companies don't like paying money, if they can thwart something off to the cops, they will. So they did pay money out, but then they also got him arrested. And when he got arrested, he had to pay restitution. So I say that to say sometimes if the cops are not taking your claim seriously, you can do like Cassie did. Make your civil complaints, get your money on the civil side, and take that evidence to the police and say, here, I've done most of your job for you. Let's get this party going. And it can work, because that's actually what we're seeing happen here. It's about justice and her trauma. Facts. And let's not forget about Kim's memoir and what happened to I'll Be Sure. Now, see, I need to read up about I'll Be Sure. So what about the footage being released until now? Can the hotel be liable? That's a great question. Yes, the hotel can be liable for if they hid or destroyed it. They can. And that probably will not be protected by the statute of limitations due to the fact that it just now came out. They may be able to rely on what I mentioned was the discovery rule. So effectively, it would be intentional infliction of emotional distress. It would be all civil claims there that could be raised against the hotel for doing so. But I do believe that Cassie went to the police back when it happened. But then when the footage disappeared, that likely was the police's reasoning for not pursuing it further. Because if you've ever read the petition that was there, as an attorney, when I read it, I knew that video existed. I knew at some point it existed. I couldn't tell, obviously, if someone had a copy today, but it sure sounded like it. The reason I say that is, as a lawyer, when you have seen certain evidence yourself and you're drafting your petitions and stuff, you write about it totally differently than if it was just a situation where your client is telling you this happened to me. Why? Because you have a personal level of confidence in the facts. That's when you get super specific and things like that, because you've seen these facts yourself. Because we know our clients don't mean to, but our clients lie. They be lying. They lie, or years happen and they just forget facts. Can Cassie sue the hotel? Probably. I do think she could if she wanted to. Even if the hotel is closed, that's right. Thank you. Sapiosexual always. Well, you're definitely a sapiosexual. She said you can sue them even though they're closed, because she said even if the hotel is closed, as long as they had a policy in effect at the time of the accident. That is the truth. I once bankrupted a publicly traded company that's sold medical devices and stuff. And my co-counsel dropped the case with me because he was like, oh, they've been bankrupt. I kid you not. When they dropped the case, I said, okay, thank you for your help. I didn't complain, because I knew that if he did not realize that the fact that them being bankrupt was an advantage, and that the insurance policy that was in place still back then when they were in existence is what was going to pay out, he didn't even be my co-counsel, because you weren't skilled enough in that area. Because it works just like this. Think of it. If you have a car accident, last year you were in a car accident and somebody hit you, and then y'all try to work it out. This year you decide, oh, you know what? They didn't pay me. I'm going to get a lawyer, but they're bankrupt now. It doesn't matter. They could personally be bankrupt, but as long as they had insurance the day they hit you, you're going to get compensated from that. And that's how that works here. Do I think they found the freak off tapes? They absolutely found the freak off tapes. They found the freak off tapes. That's why his son might be sitting in the jail cell right next to him. Because I know that little boy was in there doing all kind of weird shit. Somebody said we forget facts. Yeah. Clients forget facts. What is the point of security if they are not keeping people safe and secure? Oh, that's the other thing. As far as claims for the hotel, it could be negligent security. That actually would be a really good one. Because not only has security failed to, respond to the hollering and screaming that likely happened, or monitoring the videos, but the security affirmatively hid the videos. So if that's not negligent security, baby, I don't know what is. The hotel is likely under new ownership, and that's okay. It goes by the insurance in place. A lot of girls are suing hotels for hiding sex trafficking. Actually, yes, I went to a seminar on that, where basically a number of lawyers are getting together to represent victims of trafficking that have happened at various hotel chains. So Super 8s and Motel 6s and a lot of those Red Roof Inns and stuff have been knowing that it's going on, done nothing about it. And so if you've been a victim of one, definitely call my office and I will help get you to the right team. And it will be a case where you don't have to pay anything up front. When they recover money for you is when they'll be compensated. They're giving 50 so much camera footage for this documentary. There's already a Diddy documentary on Tubi. Somebody Diddy done. It doesn't matter. It matters what the insurance policy. That's right. That was in place. Okay, let me keep scrolling up. Y'all, I'm a little behind. Did we ever find out which insurance company cut the checks? No, I know that it was multiple. So there's going to be a base policy. There's going to be umbrella policy. There's probably like four or five insurance companies at play. And they're going to be insurance companies for different entities. Because she sued Bad Boy and she sued, I want to say, UMG. And there were different ones. He's extra less smart if he's keeping less proof of the crimes. Yes. It looked like he had his own floor to himself. I thought that too. Like he had the whole floor. You're right. Because I knew she was screaming and no one opened the door. Can Diddy be charged criminally? Yes. So I don't know if you heard that answer. So the answer to the criminal charges today, assault in California has a 3-year statute of limitations. So that is going to be out of the window. But kidnapping has no statute of limitations and neither does the R word. So criminally, he could be charged for either of those. I have a feeling that California is probably going to look into it. And then they may also coordinate with the feds to kind of determine, all right, are we both going to file charges against him? Do we want him to go through both? Baby, he's not going, he would be no good in a California prison. Ooh, can y'all imagine Diddy in a California prison? Take that, take that. He's going to be taking everything in every crevices. Oh my gosh. Let me see. I don't read that fast. Do you think the settlement has been funded? Oh yeah, the settlement has absolutely been funded already. All right, so that settlement, that happened. Her lawsuit was filed November 16th. It settled within 24 hours. Checks were cut. Releases were done absolutely by Christmas. Absolutely. Because the hardest part was probably like doing the settlement agreement. But the settlement agreement was actually probably very simple, because the claims that she wrote, she filed it in New York, but the claims she made pertain to New York and California law. And neither of those laws allow you to force somebody into confidentiality when they are making allegations of gender discrimination or assault, any type of assaults like that are gender-based. You can't make them sign no confidentiality. So whereas other types of settlement agreements may take a while to go back and forth with the terms, that one was fine. And yeah, she probably had her money. She had her money by New Year's. Actually, I think they showed her and her husband celebrating New Year's, probably on that money. Let's see what else we got. Ooh, I see you didn't choose no one from the show. Yeah, I did not. The way he kicked her, oh, that was terrible. All right, let me see. Do I think he's going away, and for how long? He's gonna get life. He's gonna get life. It just depends. There's so much drugs involved. Okay, so let me clarify. If it's this kidnapping and stuff, the state stuff, so if it's the kidnapping and the R word, I see life over there. If it's the federal stuff, I could see him getting a 15 to 20-ish year sentence. I think one of the easiest things to get him on, or to get anybody on, honestly, is going to be some form of like white collar things like wire fraud. The wire fraud would be sending girls this money, receiving money, and not paying proper taxes on it. So wire fraud, tax fraud, and then this drug related stuff, particularly drugging girls. The trafficking, if he gets the trafficking charge, yeah, he's gone. If they just charge him with trafficking, I will amend my answer to be like, oh, he's going away. Yeah, he need to be in solitary the whole time. Yep, NDAs do not protect everything. NDAs never protect crimes. Non-disclosure agreements never protect crimes. And remember, if there is a non-disparagement provision, usually those are like when you leave a job or a company. Non-disparagement means don't talk shit about me, I won't talk shit about you. But non-disparagement agreements do not preclude stating the truth, because under the law, the truth is never disparaging. So as an example, if you worked for a company, like I had given an example earlier, I worked for a company that I believe was racist. They hired, I had been practicing for 5 years. They hired a white boy that never worked at a law firm a day in his life and hadn't passed the bar. Started him $20,000 ahead of me, like more than my salary. I signed a non-disparagement agreement when I left with them and made them give me some money. And people were like, oh, isn't that going to violate your settlement? No. The truth is not disparaging. If you don't like the truth, don't do fuck shit. Somebody said, if the feds are building the case, given Diddy's resources, what's stopping him from leaving the country and going to one without a USA extradition treaty? His face is what's stopping him. He's Diddy. He's too well known. He couldn't do that. And it's not even like, it's not even a thing. You also have to understand like the type of arrogance for someone to have done the types of things that he's done. They don't believe that they're ever going to get in trouble. That's why they keep doing these things. So first, I don't believe that he has yet comprehended how much trouble he's in. And number two, even if he has, I believe that what's stopping him is when you're so well known. I guess he could try changing his look, but that's just not going to happen. He's going to get extradited back. I do think he's going to go to jail. I think he's going to get criminally charged at some point this summer. How much time did Weinstein get? I am forgetting. Is that why they grounded his plane? They grounded the plane to search it. That's a very good... No, the plane was grounded because it needed to refuel. And while refueling, they ended up searching the plane and the white boy. Oh, we can talk about that. I think that might be the last line of questioning. Do you guys have any questions about the plea deal with the white boy, his drug mule, Brendan? Hold on. As you're thinking of those questions, somebody just asked about Russell Simmons. Russell Simmons has been civilly charged, and I just want to use this opportunity to remind you, just because you're out of the country doesn't preclude you from being sued. For criminal, it can, but also if they know that you're intentionally doing that, what they can do is they can indict you, and then if you leave, they can still hold a trial in your absence and then get you back over here. But a lot of people felt like, oh, Russell Simmons is staying in Bali so that he cannot get served for any of these lawsuits against him. And that does not work in civil court. In civil court, once it's established that you are evading, like you're intentionally over there because you don't want to get served, a judge can simply rule that you can be served via the mail or anything like that. So, somebody said, I can't believe he kept that video. Just think of it, y'all. If he kept that video, think of all the other nasty videos that he's probably kept. Oh, we're about to see a treasure trove. Am I going live with Al again? Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think I'm doing a day. They're probably filming right now, actually. Can Diddy be charged with bribery? Absolutely. Yeah, that's a good one. So I think they'll go back to the other house that his son rapped about. Oh, absolutely. Let me tell you, one of the most expensive things that you can have in life is a dumb child. And Diddy is experiencing that right now. Oh, yeah, they're going to go all the premises. They're going to search again. They're going to be searching yachts. They're going to be searching all of that. But let me bring in, let's see. I want to bring in a discussion just real quick. Do I think the Mule confiscated the tape? No, I don't think he did that. But I do believe that the drug mule, is cooperating to give the feds any and everything that they need. And I also believe just by virtue of being a drug mule means you have seen some of the most illegal stuff possible, right? So let's think about this. And we also know that Diddy likes having dirt on people. So by Brendan being his mule, he probably feels like Brendan's not going to say nothing. He can't say anything because I have on him the fact that he's walking around and has toted all these drugs. Well, I feel like them finding drugs, them as in the feds finding drugs on Brendan at that airport, the Opa-locka airport, wherever it was in Florida, was the biggest gift to the feds. Here's why. The plea deal he took yesterday, it was a felony. He was a first-time offender. He had no priors. And the plea deal that Brendan received, he gets probation, no jail time whatsoever. It's going to be 6 months. He's got to take like some type of drug class, and he's all done. So a friend of mine was like, I don't think he flipped. I said, why? He said, I don't think he flipped because it was such a low-level offense, he'd have no need to flip. That's what they want you to think. You're right. It was lower level, although it was a felony. Number one, you have to remember, you can always get charged harder. He could have. But more importantly, and excuse me, my allergies. More importantly, that happened at an airport. So he may have made that deal with the state attorney's office, which is the state prosecutors. He ain't made a deal with the feds, and the feds can still charge him. He could get charged with something for having drugs on an airplane, right? Because that's international. What I believe likely happened, and is more likely, is that the feds came to him and probably said, hey, you got this sweetheart deal over here by the state, but the states aren't the feds. We can charge you with much more, including we can charge you with a RICO offense. If you don't tell us everything you know, everything you've seen, names, numbers, dates, times. Because what he can negotiate with his lawyer is that in exchange for that, because of the fact that it was lower level, he would be the best kind of person to give a deal to. Because if you have to put somebody on the stand to rat out everybody else, you want somebody who's going to be more sympathetic to a jury. Who would be more sympathetic than this little white boy, first-time offender, who's been manipulated by this big black mogul? So I say that to say, and I want your thoughts in here, but I feel that Brendan is likely working with the feds, has worked with the feds, will continue to, because not only is it beneficial to him, because he can get complete immunity. And if I was his lawyer, we would only be speaking under the terms of complete immunity, and I will point them all out. I'm going to give you all these people. And also, the fact that because he was the drug dealer, he's seen the slimiest of the slime, the worst of the worst. Rico's not held anyway in either of the Georgia cases. Okay, I'm not. If the feds have the tape, how do I think it got leaked? They usually keep evidence close to the vest. I know that I would think more than one person has a tape, but also it could be that we're getting closer to time. Well, it could be a few. If it was shared with the grand jury, something could have happened. When you play it for the grand jury, you have to put it up on the screen. You have to do all these different things. It gets uploaded to a system. So it could have been something where if they were preparing to indict him and present evidence to the grand jury in secret, that may have been a way where it got leaked. Someone who was part of that process could have leaked it. Because the feds are not going to leak anything to put something in public opinion. Because when the feds go public with their charges, it's game time. They make press releases for that reason. Ain't he probably being Diddy himself? Oh, geez. I think it was an inside leak. Thank you, Mr. Davis. I don't think the feds leaked it. Yeah, I don't think the feds leaked it either. I think it's more likely that it was someone related to the hotel. Particularly if I'm the person that sold it for $50,000, I'm gonna keep it. It could have also been the legal department, of the hotel chain, because it's a big chain. If the hotel chain ever knew that it existed, legal or the risk management department would have had a copy of it. And all of that could have been. He's not a CI. If Diddy has been an informant in the past, how will that affect any future charges? Oh, that's actually a great question. It would make perfect sense that he would have been an informant in the past just because of all of the things that he's gotten away with. But in the future, how could it affect his charges? I don't think that he would be given any grace in the future because they now can't use him anymore as a CI now with all this other stuff that's been associated with him. Somebody said, blow the whistle, Brendan. Yeah, blow it, Brendan. If the feds have the tape, oh yeah, how do we think it got leaked? Yep, we did that one. Exactly. A friend of mine was offered a low level and he provided info on his co-conspirators. That's what they do. Hello, will his children be taken care of? Will they keep money for the children's mother? Nope. No, the children's money is going to be, it's going to be whatever's left after the criminal stuff. Maybe if they've got some in trust, maybe he's moving some stuff into a trust for them. That would probably be the smartest because all of his victims are going to line up just like they did with R. Kelly. They're going to line up to sue the brakes off of him and get everything he knows. Why now? Oh, that's a good question. Someone is saying, sorry, y'all, let me get some tissue. I cannot do this to you. Hold on. Let me wipe my nose. My apologies. For me, that was the best question, right? Or that was one of my first questions is, why is this video being leaked now? I'm going to tell you what I think. Somebody said, why not now? I believe that the video was leaked in part. So I had two guesses. One is that it came out in the raid. But then my second guess, which for me might make a little more sense, is that One of the important differences between dealing with the cops in the state and the federal level, I mentioned this earlier if you've been on the live, is that you can lie to the cops in the state, and that's generally not a crime in most states, not in California, not in Texas. You cannot lie to the feds. I believe it came out now because I believe the feds are doing the investigation into Diddy. They likely went back and they interviewed the people at that hotel, because what they always start with, the feds start with the currently pending complaints and lawsuits, right? Or the recent ones, so Cassie's. They likely went back, interviewed those people, and those the people in the security department for that hospital, for that hotel, they can't lie to the feds. If they lie to the feds, they're going to jail themselves. So I believe when they were interviewed by the feds about, hey, did this really happen? Are these accusations true? And the feds were like, where can we go to see a copy of the tape? Or do you know where this tape would be held? They had to be like, well, yeah, I got a copy in my safe deposit box, or whatever it was going to be. So I think the feds got it. It came out now because the feds got it. And once whoever it is that turned it over to the feds, once they realized they had to turn it over to him, there'd be no reason to not keep a copy for themselves. Somebody said, Young Miami doesn't care. She's in it for the money. Yep. You think Young Miami is knowledgeable of any of this? Yes, she's done a lot of it with him. Remember she said that little comment where she told the other girl, Gina, if I wanted you to, Diddy would make you eat my buttercup? She's part of all the wild stuff. Yeah, as long as it doesn't negatively impact her, she don't care. The fact that the tape was being held for so long, that's really frightening. Do I think the person that made the deal for the tape is going to be prosecuted? Let me think. No, it's too. I believe that it's too late to prosecute that person. Because it would be tampering with evidence, I guess would be, but that is probably has like a 3 to 5 year statute of limitations. Is it normal for folks to pay for security footage? Rumor is he paid $50K. Absolutely. I'm in Texas. Happens with the Dallas Cowboys all the time. They go out to the club, they do something ridiculous to like females or whatever at the club, or get in a fight, or even a man. They might beat some guy up real bad, and all of a sudden at Concrete Cowboy, that footage just disappears. One time my homegirl, she was in, it was an honest accident. She was in the bathroom, and one of the players, I guess the door didn't stay locked. He opened the door and she's like, I pig, but he like stood there and he like walked for a while. That footage disappeared. She wasn't gonna like sue him or anything like that. But that footage definitely disappeared. Is there an injustice in crucifying black men more than white men? Important. So it's interesting that you say that. What I'll say to that is, I've often gotten a lot of flack when I say, yeah, I don't have a problem being a defense attorney at times. It's for that reason. So some people are like, oh, you should feel ashamed of yourself for representing someone that you know is guilty. Part of my responsibility as an attorney is to make sure that if you're going to get punished for a crime, that the punishment is fair and equal across the board, and that you're not punished for being black, you're punished for being a murderer, or you're punished for being a thief, or whatever it is, but that the punishment isn't one way for black people and another for other people. Let's see. Wonder if they're going to prosecute him under the statute for Cassie's TV. Let me tell you, if you're ever a victim of any type of crime against a rich person, California is a state you want to be victimized in. I hate to say it. I had a ho-hum girl. She was always selling her ho-ha. And she won a $9 million verdict by being sexually harassed by her boss. And honestly, if she would have came to my office and been like, oh, I got the sexual harassment case, I'd be like, no, girl, you're a whore. But I say that to say, California has a lot of laws in place that really benefit victims and allow juries to see the facts in ways that are the most helpful to victims. Do I think Cassie will testify against him? Absolutely. She's going to have on pearls. She's going to look gorgeous. She's going to be, she's going to smell good. She's going to be well rested. It is going to be a good day. Oh my goodness. Yeah, she was a bit of a hoe. She's going to be a rich hoe now. So I think Cassie is going to testify, and because see, remember guys, they're going to subpoena her if Cassie wasn't willingly testifying, they would subpoena her. She has no reason to not participate now. She has no obstacles to prevent her from testifying, and this is her way to get justice. So for all those people who were like, oh, if Cassie really wanted justice, this is just about the money. If she really wanted justice, she would have went to the police. She did, boo-boo. She did. The evidence disappeared. And one of the good ways to get justice, to start on the route to justice, is get your civil money first. Because I said this before. You want to get if you're going to make a civil claim, you want to get that money first, because what happens is once that criminal case gets filed, it stays the civil case. Meaning you can't win your civil case. They can't go to trial. They can't do anything until your trial for your criminal case is done, because of your right to not have to take the stand. They need to change the statutes and make it forever. There shouldn't be a limitation. Some stuff needs a limitation. I think things like theft, because it's too hard to like defend yourself if you stole from Walmart and Walmart is claiming, 10 years later you stole from them on the self-checkout. Some things need. When she accepted her settlement, she said that she would no longer pursue this in any way. How does that affect the criminal case? Good question. So with the criminal case, that's not necessarily her pursuing it. So she may say that honestly may be her saying, I don't want him to be charged for kidnapping. I don't want to deal with any of that. And instead allow him to be charged federally with whatever the feds are going to charge. But it doesn't change the fact that if she is subpoenaed, she must show up. And more than likely, she probably won't even have to be subpoenaed. But I think what Cassie is saying is, if there is going to be a criminal case to take him down, she doesn't want to be the face of it. She's been through enough. She doesn't want to be the face of it. But if the criminal case that takes him down, like right now, it looks like it's going to be him doing things to a variety of people, trafficking them, drugging them, all of that, then she could be one witness of 150, however many witnesses we're going to have. So I hope that makes sense. So I don't believe to clarify, I don't believe it's her saying, I'm not going to help anyone else seek justice. It's her saying, I don't want the burden to be the face of justice for everything. Yep, she's single, but she will run a background check on you and discuss your results. I will run a background check. I don't tell people's names though. Oh my gosh. The fact that he released statements denying everything ruins his credibility. He better not say nothing. So I think there's credibility in the Little Rod case. Yeah. Okay. So there's credibility in the Little Rod case, but my first issue with the Little Rod case is I wanted to know why Cassie's lawyers did not accept Little Rod's case and take it. Because what you always do is you go to the lawyers that have already gotten a big settlement against the same person you're suing. You want to go to them first. Cassie's lawyers did not take his case for a reason. The crux of his case is honestly that he did not have a contract and later wanted to complain about being underpaid when he didn't have a contract. The core of his case, if he had been paid what he felt he was worth, we wouldn't have a lawsuit today. But what he was claiming is that for a year and a half, he lived with Diddy, produced music for Diddy, and then didn't get paid. Here's my first issue with that claim. My first issue with that claim is that, and I think it's going to cut me off soon, but my first issue with that claim is, if you know the industry, you know that he's what's called an independent contractor. If you're an independent contractor, you have to consistently, like every 2 weeks, submit invoices to any type of record label. You cannot go 18 months without an invoice and be expecting to get paid. Every 2 weeks, monthly. That petition that he filed told everybody's business, said everything about everything, but never once said, oh, and I submitted an invoice and it was rejected. Because I don't believe that he did. And so I do believe that he enjoyed living and running in that circle. I believe that he thought that when the album hit, he would be compensated in a different way. But I also believe that there were some gray lines with respect to the structure of that relationship, and that his case is not nearly as strong. I do believe he was a victim of certain things. But I also believe the core of his case is a contract case. I don't believe the core of his case is abuse. It started with the contract, and if he would have gotten paid on the contract, all the abuse claims, I don't think they would have ever come to the light of day. But I do think that now that other people are filing the abuse claims, he was like, well, hey. And now that other people were like, well, hey, not only was I abused, but I was abused and I wasn't paid. Yeah, no problem. I said, I was thinking about starting a church preaching. Okay, you are talking crazy. Not sure if you touched on this, but strategically, this was a great move to relay the video. The video was seen by everyone. Where on earth could you find a jury? That was what I said earlier today. There will not be, give this video 1 week, because shoot, we got 24 hours right now. Give this video 1 week. There won't be a person on a jury who hadn't seen it. And here's the thing. If you've seen that video, you've lost credibility in him. You don't believe him anymore. You don't believe him. So that means any jury he's going to have, he is going to have to start with knowing these people on this jury know I'm a liar. I feel like I'm getting the tea in the bags. Thank you. Maybe if the juror is 85 years old and has a bad eyesight, that is actually, and no cell phone, that is actually who I could see Diddy's team trying to get on the jury. They're going to get Caucasian people. Rich Caucasian people. Rich Caucasian people, when it comes to civil juries, they don't like paying people out. They feel like I got this from my bootstraps. And these people are trying to get millions off of this lawsuit. They need to get up and go to work and work hard and be a good American like I was. So those will probably be actually good jurors, except for the fact that they're going to be a little racist. So, gotta have to weigh that one out. All right, guys, I think I got an interview tonight. I got to do the news, so I'm going to take me a little nappy nap, but it was great chatting with you guys. DM me any questions that you have, and make sure subscribe to my channel. Girl, Is That Legal? I'll be going live on there tomorrow to talk some more. All right, have a good one, y'all. Bye.